Hey friends, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Quarantine Interviews, where we're taking a look at artists in isolation, spreading God's love, not the virus. Today we want to introduce you to Lynne Modranski from Ohio. She's a singer-songwriter, musician, worship leader, and now published author. This was originally recorded back on April 7th, so we're so glad to finally get this out to you. Please enjoy Lynne Modranski.
And welcome everyone to the NoteSpire Radio and NoteSpire Music TV Artist Insight, where we're, Nate Miller and I are spending time with Lynne Modranski. Lynne is from Ohio. She's a singer, songwriter, author, worship leader, musician.
It's just a triple threat.
She is all of the above and then some. So she is with us, and whether you're watching on video or you're listening to the audio, either way, we hope that you will be blessed today by what we are sharing. Lynne, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Paul?
We're doing great. We're doing great. And Nate, you're with us, and I see
I'm in my virtual studio here.
Nate's in the virtual studio. If you're watching by video, or even if you're not, you need to check this out, because Nate and I are sitting in different studios together. Now wait a minute,
Yeah.
We're sitting in the same studio together, but we're not together. All right. Well,
It's weird. It does look weird. I'm sitting in the same chair that you are, but not really.
yeah.
Virtually.
Oh, you are, aren't you?
It has
Oh,
to
my
look
goodness.
strange to you.
Oh, you're right. It does. Okay. And Lynn's just she's just shaking her head. She says, "What did I get myself into? These guys." All right. Well, Lynne, thanks for joining us today. And so we want to first talk about you as a musician, and let's go back a ways. And when you got started doing Christian music.
Oh my!
You've written, you recorded, you've done all kinds of things.
I have. I started soloing right after we got out of the Air Force. My husband was in the Air Force, and while I was there, I went to the altar one day, and I felt like God said, "I'm going to give you a music ministry." Well, I had little kids at the time, tiny kids, babies, and so I'm thinking, this is going to be a long time in the future. God's going to do this. And I got home, and people started calling me and asked me to sing. Like,
no way. And you'd never sung before, right?
No,
No,
I mean,
just kidding.
really, but not that much. I mean, I'd sung in choirs, and I had sung at school, but no, as far as like going out and soloing anywhere, no, I really hadn't.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I'm singing at churches all over the place, and then in 1990, my pastor called and he said, "There's a guy who has just come back to Christ, and he really needs some Christian fellowship, but he plays drums." So we got together just to jam. So all we were doing was just going to jam. It sounded horrible. Oh, it was awful. It was just awful. The piano we had was not in tune with everything. It wasn't even in tune with itself. It was just horrid. But my husband decided that day that God was calling us into ministry, and he went and bought me. You can't see right now, but my computer is sitting on top of a piano. He went out and bought me this piano. Okay. And Crossroads to Glory started, and from then in '90 until now, I just sing whenever I get a chance to.
Wow. Now, at that point, had you actually written some songs at that point or not?
I had written a few, a few, but during the time Crossroads to Glory was together, pretty much everything that Crossroads did, the whole repertoire was stuff that I wrote.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So that's basically when it like exploded. That like I would wake up in the middle of the night with these songs, and I'd just real quick write them down, or on my way to work, I would sing a song like all the way to work, because I'd have this idea. And I'd be driving to work, and I would just keep singing it until I got to work. And then real quick, I wrote it down. Fortunately, I worked in a recording studio, and the owner was a Christian. So if he came down and I wasn't automatically working as soon as I got there, he knew what I was doing. So,
okay. That's a blessing to be able to do that. Yeah. Oh,
I see a guitar behind you. It looks like an Alvarez. So you play guitar also?
I do. I play pretty much anything I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a mandolin now. I have a banjo now.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not good at a lot of them, but I will play them in public. So I have a couple instruments I won't even play in public. So
I have a picture somewhere, Lynn, of you in the First Baptist Church in Hudson Falls, New York.
yeah,
And what I remember is you playing your guitar, and you always used a headset microphone
yes,
back then. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I still do.
You
I
still do. Yeah.
I move around. My husband always, because Steve ran my sound, and he's like, you
Yeah.
move around too much. You have to stand still. Because when you're playing the guitar, and
Yeah.
you have this microphone right here. Yeah, so
Right.
he got me a headset because I
Yeah.
can't stand still.
You can, yeah. So you can move around with those.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So where'd it go from there, Lynn? Yeah, I know you've been doing, and you put out a couple of CDs, and
Yep.
we were saying before we hit record that one of your songs has been very, very popular for me and people that I have come into contact with. Has been I really want to worship you. And Nate and I have done that when we've
Yeah.
been out and sang together, and also the Just Got Praise Band, which was a couple friends of mine, Dana Roy, who's now with the Lord, and Jack Aiken. And we used to play that very often as well. Great song. And I'll tell you another one that really, when I'm playing it here, when I'm sitting in the studio in Nate's chair, I'm
Yeah.
what I really love is Let It Rain.
That's one of my favorites to
That
sing.
is, oh my goodness! I will
Yeah,
just
that's a good one
sit
too.
here and just worship. That is
And that's
awesome.
not the Pocket Full of Rocks one that Michael W. Smith made popular.
Right.
Yeah, that's an original
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
for
Yes.
our viewers to hear.
Yes, that's right, Nate. Thank you for bringing that
Yeah,
up. Yeah,
that's a very good song.
yeah. So you did 2 CDs, Lynn, over the years. Was it?
I've done 2
Okay.
solo studio 2 CDs,
Okay.
and then I have a garage CD
Okay.
with some Christmas music on it.
Yes, and I think we have that too. Yeah. 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 So you kind of morphed, if you will. I know you're still doing music, but you kind of got into more writing, didn't you?
I did. My husband's a pastor, so for years I've created resources for churches because we've always served really small churches, and especially children's curriculum is often written for these programs who have 30 or 40 kids in their program. And so when you go to play the game, it's like, yeah, but I only have 4 or 5 kids. It's not working.
Right.
So I started writing curriculum for our children's ministries, and then I've always written Bible studies. So the children's curriculum, at one point, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put this online, see if anybody wants it.
Yeah.
And people started ordering it.
That's
Well, this is
awesome.
pretty cool.
That is awesome.
So that encouraged me. So I started actually, because before all my Bible studies were just in notebooks, just written down, scribbled.
Mm-hmm.
So I started actually organizing them so they're nice and organized. And now they're on Amazon and people are actually buying them. So.
Wow.
So how do people find you? Find you said Amazon, obviously. Just kind of search for you on Amazon.
Fortunately, I have a very unusual last name. So if you just type in Modranski, I'm the only thing that comes up.
Oh, wow.
There we go. Yes.
If you put me in Google,
Mm-hmm.
it's all me.
Good.
There's nothing else. Nobody even uses my name as like a search engine keyword. So it's good.
Mm-hmm. So I'm eating an orange here. Oh, you got something, Nate? Because I got an orange here. I'm kind of munching.
I was just going to say that's, I guess, a double-edged sword. It's a blessing and a curse because people can find you either way, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, and now you're starting some audio, which we've been kind of hoping that you would do here for a while. So, yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, Paul, you asked me, oh crap, probably 6 months ago or more.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it's been longer ago than that. You asked me, are you going to ever do any audio? And I was like, oh, I want to. But yeah, I just started my podcast. If again, it's at podpoint.com, and if you type in Modranski, you'll find
Right, you're gonna find it.
one there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then I've also started doing some YouTube videos of my, what I share on there are the devotions I write. I write devotions and send them out about once every 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
And so I started recording those and putting them on Podpoint and YouTube. So you can find them either place.
And you have a YouTube channel now, your own?
Yes.
Obviously, yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of things are you, go ahead.
Well, and if you're interested in some of my music, like watching me sing live, there is some of that on there. My daughter went to a concert one night and recorded some of that on there.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get back to the music just for a second, because now you wrote so much great original music, but you also, if I remember right, most of the music that you recorded on your CDs is original, correct?
Yes, my second CD, it's all original.
Yeah.
My first CD, all but 2 songs are mine, and one of them I'm still the only person who's ever recorded it. I was taking some guitar lessons at the time, and he gave it to me to play, and I just really loved it. So I was like, "Oh, Scott, can I record this?"
Okay.
No, you do whatever. So Lullaby of Tears. I don't know if you're from.
Oh, I've heard that many times. Yes.
Yeah, that one my guitar teacher wrote, but other than that, all the rest of them are mine. Yeah. So
now, musically now, what is your, what occupies your time musically now? Is it, do you still get to do your original music? You said you're a worship leader. So how does your original music kind of work in there? Most of my original stuff I do as solos from time to time. Okay. Yeah. And then, handful of them are just really good congregational songs. I really want to worship you, Lord is very congregational. Yeah. And so we use that in congregation all the time. I have a couple of Christmas songs that are, one of them I wrote for the congregation. I wrote it around a theme Steve was preaching on at the time. And so I have several, so I still get to do some of my original stuff just on Sunday morning instead of in concert. Okay, that's good. I was kind of hoping you were going to say that you'd still be able to, because sometimes the original music, sometimes that we write just doesn't suit itself well for congregational singing. Yeah, Nate and I did a podcast on that. We were talking about different forms of music and how some is very easy to sing as a congregation, as a group, and then other songs are just kind of, they're more suited for solos. And so so you've got a mixture of both, though, don't you? Which is kind of cool. Yes. Yeah. And even when I was doing solo concerts, I would usually invite people to sing "I Really Want to Worship You" with me. Like the last, same with "Let It Rain." "Let It Rain." I would usually invite people to sing at least that last chorus with me, because it's just so easy. Oh, it's to sing and worship with. It sure is. It sure is.
So I'm curious, obviously this whole pandemic has affected all of us. Are you still leading worship now, and how have you had to change what you've done or what you're doing because of this? Fortunately, my praise band right now is primarily my kids. Oh, wow. Okay. So we only have, my piano player is my mom, and we aren't allowing her to come because she's almost 80. And it's just like, you probably shouldn't come out of the house. But we have a ukulele player who isn't related, but she kind of lives with my daughter part-time. So we're all already connected. So what we do is we go to church on Sunday morning, and everything on stage looks exactly the same as if you were there on Sunday morning. Okay. So we're pretty fortunate that way, that our Facebook Live still looks exactly the same way as it would. The only difference is Steve and I are both preaching, because he does not like to preach without somebody feeding. He needs feedback when he preaches. Oh, I see. So that first week he's like, what if you preach for 10 minutes and I preach for 10 minutes instead of, so we do 3 songs and I preach, and we do 3 songs and he preaches, and then we finish up. So it's a little different that way. So putting a bunch of Muppets and dolls and things in the pews doesn't really work for him. Doesn't work for him. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't work for him. Oh, that's funny. They don't talk. Maybe if we could get them to talk, it would be okay. Yeah, put a hand up. Amen. Hallelujah, everyone. Or get the
talking Elmo doll. Put that out there.
There you go. There you go. That's what we got to get.
They should make one. They should make one that just, every once in a while says, "Amen." So.
Yeah.
Cookies. Amen. Anyway, yeah. I completely lost my train of thought on that one. Nate, where were we going with that?
I was just asking about the worship, how that's
right.
changed for her. I know
You're right.
how we're doing it, but it's interesting to see how God is using this whole thing to get churches to pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually now it's been a blessing in disguise, because there are people being reached online who never would have been reached before. They never would have physically come to a church. And now they're having access to the gospel message and music. Yeah. So it's really been interesting to see what God is doing and how he's moving through this whole thing.
Well, and we've always done Facebook Live, but currently it seems like we're getting more views. And I think I think more people, like our regulars, obviously weren't watching Facebook Live before, so they weren't sharing it as much with their friends. But now they're watching it, so now they're sharing it.
Yeah.
I think more people have access to it.
And I think people are out there looking for answers, because this world doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah.
Lynne, how would you address the topic? We've talked to different ones who this topic has come up repeatedly. Everybody, one way to look at this, everybody's kind of jumping on the bandwagon right now. As far as, let's do songs on Facebook. Let's do this, because everybody else is doing it. And how do you feel about that? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going with that, but I'm bringing this up because I got to confess, I have felt it myself, to whether or not to get on Facebook and share my songs. Well, you would think, well, of course we all should, but there's still that voice inside a lot of us, I think, that says, well, you're just doing it because everybody else does. Any thoughts there, Lynne?
Well, I haven't. I shared a little bit on a YouTube video because it went with what I was talking about on my YouTube video, but basically I haven't. And then 3 or 4 days ago, a couple of guys in my congregation put up a post on Facebook. I can't figure out why Lynne Modranski hasn't done one of these live concerts like everybody else.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Yes.
So now I'm kind of considering it. Like I have a friend from Germany. She's just a beautiful voice, and she leads worship in her church in Germany. And she just put like one song out there a few days ago. And I have some friends down in Morgan County, Ohio. They twice a month on Saturday night, they have what they call the Ohio Valley Opry. It's exactly like the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
It's mostly local talent, but it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Cool.
And they usually have a segment where somebody from Nashville comes up and does a segment in the middle of it. So it's pretty cool. And they've started doing live. They've doing live from the living room, they're calling it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I don't know. I think if you have the talent, you might as well. If people don't want to listen to it, they don't have to.
Yeah.
True. So
that's right.
So why not?
Yeah. Yeah. We're trying to address the Christians out there, the Christian musicians that are kind of struggling with that right now. And it doesn't matter if you've been doing it 6 months or a year, or if you've been doing it all your life. It's still, there's still these questions always quite often come up, and how to proceed, and especially in times like this that are just so unusual, and maybe we haven't faced before.
Well, and one of the things I tell the girls in one of my small groups at the church is, they'll worry about, are my motives right? And one of the things I tell them is, if you're worried that your motives are right, something in your motives is right.
Good point.
Because if your motives were completely wrong, that thought wouldn't even cross your mind.
Good point. Good point. May we use that? Repeat that?
Oh, please do. You know, because sometimes we get so hung up on I'm afraid of doing it for the wrong motives. I'm afraid of making Jesus look bad. If that's your worry, you aren't going to.
Yeah.
But you're not. It's all good.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Remember what she said, Nate? Can you just?
Well, yeah. I want to write that down.
I'm thinking, don't tell anybody else, but I'm thinking maybe Nate and I, we may even have to remind each other of that every once in a while. Because we do. And we all do. I think we all struggle with that now and then. And
it's a good, healthy struggle because it does keep us from doing things just out of vain conceit.
Right.
So it's a good struggle to have.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, if you quit ever having that struggle, then you got a whole nother problem.
Then you got another. Oh, that's good. That's good, Lynn. Yes. That's good. I like that. So, the other thought I had was and we always try to give some advice to the Christian artist that's just kind of starting out and really not quite sure what direction to go with. And so go back to the beginning when I'm fascinated by this. You said that God kind of told you you're going to have a music ministry. And you're like,
and then all of a sudden you had one.
Oh, There had to be tons of struggles and things with that, and questions and doubts and fears and things. And I'm guessing that there's somebody listening to this right now that's kind of maybe in that place right now. What would you say to that person?
Just when God opens the door, just walk through it. Like I said, I just started having people call me, and I could have said, well, no, because I've got this infant. And we're talking infant. Julia was born in June. We moved home in February. And by May, I was doing mother and daughter banquets. Wow. So I had an infant. And then when Crossroads started, I could have very easily said, guys, I cannot do this. I got these tiny kids at home. But God made a way. My kids, they just traveled with us. We ended up getting an old school bus because I had kids and our drummer had kids and my lead guitar player had kids. And we fixed the backup so we could haul instruments in it. And then we left the front 10 seats on each side. My husband got a CDL so he could officially drive it. And the kids, my kids, every Sunday, they were on that bus. Sometimes we played 3 times every Sunday.
Wow.
And they just, when Sylvia was, I think 9, I think she was 9 years old, we had a bus birthday party because her birthday fell on a Sunday and we had concerts to go to. We put streamers up in the bus, balloons in the bus, had cupcakes.
Very cool. Oh, there's some memories right there.
Yeah. So, but God opened those doors. And I could have made excuses and said, oh, I can't. Yeah. And so, if God opens the doors, walk through them. Yeah. That's the main thing. Yeah. And then the other thing is Romans 8:28 is my favorite verse because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't used to do because I was afraid of failure. I was afraid I would let God down. I was afraid I couldn't do it. But Romans 8:28 says, God works all things together for good for those who love him. So I finally figured this out. All I have to do is love him. That's my only job, is to love him. And then I just keep doing things. And some of them I'm going to mess up on. Yeah. Some of them I am going to fall flat on my face and fail. That's going to happen. Guaranteed. I'm a human being. But the key is that God's going to take even those things that I fail at, and he's going to work them together for good because I love him. Yeah. Because that's in that whole verse, the only thing that's my job is love him.
Right.
So that's the other thing I would tell somebody starting out. Don't let your fear, don't let the times that you totally blow it make you stop.
Good point.
Yeah, good words.
Yes, very good. Very good. It's kind of a different twist, isn't it, Nate, on the why? And I'm thinking, as you're talking, I'm thinking, the music is not the main thing. It's to love, as you said, to love God.
Yeah.
And to love God first. And then everything else falls into place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seek ye first.
some of the times when I was soloing, I'd be sitting in a pew waiting on the pastor to introduce me, and I would start worrying about like my songs, my song list. Are they going to like my song list? Oh, am I going to sing? And one of the things that I would finally tell myself if I would get to worrying is like, who am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Who am I doing this for?
Yeah.
I'm going to just sing for Jesus. If they don't like it, well, that's just too bad.
Yep. I totally get it.
Because at a certain point, like I had prayed about the song list. I had done all the work. So all that was left was, I'm just going to sing this for Jesus.
Yeah, that's good. So friends, somebody who's listening out there, it's okay to say to yourself what Lynne just said. Yeah, yes. Remember that. Remember that. Yes, remember that. Who you're doing it for, and who it really matters. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Oh, so I know we had a couple other points we were going to cover, Nate. I'm at the end of my notes here. So
better than the end of your rope.
And it's better than the end of my rope. That's right. And I've been there too. But anyway, so what's coming down the pike, Lynne? As far as we got new podcast, and are you still writing as far as music goes?
Not much music.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Right now I'm writing a lot of devotions.
Yeah.
I've got a children's curriculum I'm almost done with. And then I took a challenge yesterday. I've had this fiction book rolling around in my head. I've never written fiction ever.
Really?
Ever.
Okay.
And so yesterday I started a fiction book.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So now I've told the world, so now I have to do something with it.
Now
right?
you have to do it.
Now you have to finish it.
Yeah. Now be careful. Don't say when you're going to have it done.
Oh no promises
okay, we won't. Okay,
yeah.
no, okay, all right,
No.
all right. But you have started it, so.
I've got a couple thousand words. So.
Wow, that's very cool. Very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So we're looking for a lot of stuff. You're just continuing right on with all the stuff you're doing, isn't it? You're continuing right on. That's good. Yeah. That's good. So we're looking forward to a lot more stuff from you. I know that you sent, just letting our listeners know that you sent the first podcast to me the other day, and I listened to it, and it's just awesome. Very, very, very well done. So we're going to look forward to that. More podcasts coming along. Yeah, and so Modranski, Modranski.
Yes.
And it's Lynne with an E.
With an E, yeah.
With an E, yes.
All kind of weird letters in my name.
Yeah. So let's see. So this podcast, the audio of what we're doing right now, and people might be listening on Spreaker or SoundCloud, Spotify. Where else? Apple Podcasts, iTunes, all the podcast sites, and there in the description on Spreaker anyway, there will be some links so people can get to your website, and from there that'll take them wherever to Amazon, right? You'll have all those links there for finding things.
Well, and you can buy it right on my website.
And
everything for sale right on my website.
Okay, so you don't need to go anywhere else. There we go.
No.
LynneModranski.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else, Nate? We want to remember.
I think we covered. Yeah.
If this is going to air, and I can even set it so it lasts longer. Right now for Easter, She Had No Lamb is set for free if somebody wants to get it.
That's a great song.
Good to know.
Great song. She Had No Lamb. I have heard that many, many times, and it just, Lynne, I think I hear something new, especially in that song, every time I hear it. Another point will jump out that I hadn't really thought of or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's a great song.
One of my favorites that I. Yeah. That's from my first CD, so it's an older one, but right. I love that song.
Nate, our website, things.
Yeah, so you can reach us at www.notespiremusic.com. We're on YouTube at NoteSpire Music TV. Maybe you're watching this video there. Obviously, we're on Facebook, NoteSpire Music, on Instagram, NoteSpire Music as well on there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on live, or not live, sometimes we're live, but we're on the radio 24/7. Do you want to mention that, Paul?
Yeah, WNSM-DB, NSM for NoteSpire Music and DB for Digital Broadcast. That's something new that came out a few years back for internet-only radio stations. So WNSM-DB, NoteSpire Radio. You can find that at notespireradio.com. And if you're on mobile device, you want to listen on your phone, just download the Live 365 app and use that to search for NoteSpire Radio. And if you're in one of the other countries, sometimes you have to listen on websites like radio.net, or another one is streama.com. Yeah, so we're out there, and Lynne's music is a part of the regular rotation on NoteSpire Radio, and our one of our other podcasts, which is the Just Got Music Hour, with new episodes every Friday. It's a 1-hour podcast hosted by yours truly that focuses on the independent indie artists, whether devotionals and Lynne's devotionals get included in that as well. So. Yeah, Lynne, you are a great part of so many things, and
Thank you.
We're happy to be included in what you and what you're doing. Any final thoughts for the people watching, listening today?
I just pray God blesses you, and that you just keep growing in Him. That's the main thing. Just keep growing in Christ.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Well, we are going to end this broadcast and this podcast, and then friends, we're going to sign off and say goodbye to you if you're watching and listening, and then we're going to have a little private conversation afterwards, that you guys won't be privy to. But don't worry, we will not be talking about you. It's okay. That's all right. But you may talk about us, but you're welcome. But you don't have to tell us what you said. Anyway, so friends, thank you for joining us, and we thank Lynne and for being with us, and for all that she is doing for the Lord. So friends, you do take care of yourselves.
And take care of each other.
All right. So friends, we'll see you again. Take care.
God bless.